Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at 6620 Palomino Circle here in West Lynn, located inside the garage. We're over here on the right side of the garage where the sewer stack comes down, going through a 3-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. We're going to zero out right here where we tie into the main line. And off we go. Transitioning here over to cast iron. We had a little bit of standing water there for a short section of the pipe. We'll take another look at that on the way out. The line's drained. And it would appear now that we are into, this appears to be clay pipe, 4-inch clay pipe. It's the newer style of clay that has firm toes. And it's 4-inch, not 6-inch. You don't see this stuff terribly often, but and we got a root penetration there at about 61 feet. And we'll take a look at that joint. That one looks like it's being torqued on a little bit. Now we're into concrete pipe. This line just keeps going and going here. It's much longer than I thought it was going to be. I paused the camera here just so you weren't watching nothing for a long time. We finally made it to the main here at 144 feet. I'm going to try and go locate and figure out where this line's going. It is, I mean, this is 5-6 times longer than the line probably should be. But it's possible there wasn't a main up this close to the house and the home went in. Something like that could be the perfect reason behind that. I finally found the camera head here. The line if you're standing in the driveway or the garage looking out to the street, the line heads to the left or up the hill, up the road, and it actually terminates. You got a house directly in front of this one, then a house down the road. It's 2 houses down, terminating just adjacent to the neighbor's driveway. Very interesting route this line takes. And we're going to pull back a little bit and locate and double check everything, just to make sure that I'm not picking up on some underground power utility, something like that. But as far as flow goes, the line has great flow. There's only one small area with standing water. We do have the root, which I'm going to recommend a repair on. At this time, though, the root is not affecting flow. That doesn't mean that it won't in time, though, as it grows. I always recommend those be repaired here. But flow-wise, the line has great flow, especially considering the length of this line. Most lines that go over about 100 feet or so, especially when they're kind of going uphill up the street, usually will have massive bellies in them. So whoever installed this line back in the day did a very, very good job doing it. And the line here is just about done draining. We're going to start rolling the camera back in here. All those little stringy things at the top of the pipe there, those are just cobwebs. Again, more cobwebs there. Yeah, we are definitely heading the direction I was mentioning. I just located the camera there at just before the street curb in the roadway. So what I might look into is finding out where your responsibility starts and stops. A very unique sewer line to travel that distance, and especially the way it does, crossing the entire roadway like that, is a little unusual. And that right there just appears to be debris sitting in the flow line, toilet paper, ball, or something like that. Let's find out if the city takes responsibility in the roadway or not. That, again, is just debris there at that joint. Most sewer lines go out and terminate in the middle of the roadway. In this case, it crosses the entire road, goes out on the other side of the street, and basically to the left of the neighbor's house, 2 houses down. They've got a main lateral running up and down the left side of their property line. So there should be some type of easement, I would assume anyway, for the sewer line. You may want to check title and see if there's paperwork that shows any of that. Concrete pipe here is still very smooth. Over time, concrete pipe will start wearing out and becoming very, very rough, which becomes problematic. Debris starts snagging up in it. The concrete surface here, though, is still very smooth. Looks like it has a lot of life left in it still. All right, concrete pipe that looks good. It drains beautifully. They've got a little bit of cast iron, right? The transition to concrete there. And then it appears we go right back into clay pipe. Yeah, the older style clay is 6-inch diameter typically. This stuff here is 4-inch, but instead of having a vitrified clay grout at the joints, there's a little bit of something sticking off that joint there. As best I can tell, though, it just looks like debris. I don't see obvious root strands sticking out of that joint. But this is a better pipe product because the joints have a rubber fernco around them. They're not using grout, which fails a lot easier than the rubber fernco does. A little bit of settling occurred there. And then here is our root ball. We're going to go locate this. I do recommend a spot repair here. All right, I've marked this with a white X. It's purely for reference. It's in a bunch of bushes and stuff that it's difficult to locate in. So I recommend relocating before doing any digging here. That white X is purely for reference. But it's over on the right side edge. Now I'm talking if you're standing in the road looking back at the front of the house. We're at the right side of the property. There's a tuft of bushes. I think there's a couple tropical looking plants over there. Kind of like mini palm tree type things. But it's the X marking is kind of up under the grass, so you gotta look around for it. I do recommend a spot repair there to fix that joint. And if repairs aren't done, I'd recommend rescoping, especially at the 1 year mark, to make sure that you don't have buildup occurring there, the roots growing much larger. But after any repairs are done, I highly recommend rescoping the sewer line to check the work. The cool thing about clay pipe, though, is it can be brittle, similar to concrete. It can crack and fracture, but the pipe material itself just about doesn't wear out at all. I mean, it looks like the day it was fired in the oven right now. The stuff lasts for forever, as long as it doesn't have any hard shock against it or anything like that. Unlike concrete and cast iron pipe, which will wear out slowly over time, the biggest problem with clay is its ability to crack and fracture. Well, the line here comes out through the garage. There's actually, I think, a secondary clean out at the front of the garage, a larger cast iron one. But once it exits the garage, it turns and shoots all the way across the yard. And then the area with the bushes over there, I just took a second look. You've got a couple ferns, a couple what appear to be smaller blue spruces. It's basically the last tuft of bushes there up against the right side edge of the property. No, and then you do have this belly here, which in my opinion is minor. It stretches from 9 feet to about 12 feet, and at its worst point, you've got somewhere around a ½ inch of standing water, which in my opinion is not significant enough to require repair work. There's also no major buildup in this area, and no evidence it's caused a backup. Otherwise, this pipe right here, prior to that belly, you would see buildup at the top of the sewer line if it had ever clogged and backed up. And we're going to go ahead and reel the camera out of the sewer line. At this time, we do have good flow to the main, as the root has not affected functionality yet. And aside from the spot there at 61 feet, the rest of the sewer line here appears to be in good condition. Do you recommend the repair there at 61 feet? And my locator was indicating somewhere around 5 feet deep there. Again, I haven't written the depth down because of the trickiness of locating in that spot there with all the bushes. I recommend rescoping and relocating before doing any digging. And after any repair work is done, I recommend rescoping the sewer line to check the work. At this time, the line is functioning properly. I recommend the spot repair so that the line stays functioning properly and doesn't get blocked up by the root.